Do you feel stuck in a routine that doesn't bring you true happiness? It seems like despite all your efforts, you still haven't reached the peace and joy you desire. Many people live in this repetitive cycle, like running on a treadmill and never getting anywhere. But what's really behind this feeling? Are we living a life that truly resonates with who we are and what we deeply desire? Or are we just going with the flow, dragged by obligations, fears, and expectations that aren't truly ours? The truth is, we are living in a kind of modern-day slavery. I'm not talking about physical chains, but invisible ones that bind us to lifestyles and behaviors that don't bring true satisfaction. We work tirelessly to achieve goals imposed by society, but deep down, they don't reflect what really matters to us. Many of us are stuck in jobs, relationships, or even consumption patterns that only feed a cycle of dissatisfaction. In this video, I will share with you 5 universal laws that can free you from these invisible chains and help you find true pleasure in life. These laws are not just philosophical concepts or theoretical ideas. They are powerful principles, grounded in the law of attraction, quantum physics, and surprisingly confirmed by biblical teachings. By applying them, you will begin to live with more authenticity, lightness, and fulfillment. These 5 laws, the law of authenticity, the law of detachment, the law of abundance, the law of inner silence, and the law of flow, will be explained in detail throughout the video. Each of them holds a key to transforming your life, freeing your mind and heart. Stay with me until the end, as I will reveal how these laws can be applied in your daily life to achieve lasting freedom and happiness. The truths I'm going to share have the power to free you from modern slavery and guide you toward a life full of meaning and purpose. Are you ready to begin? Modern slavery isn't made up of visible chains or concrete prisons. It's a subtle form of imprisonment that traps us in a cycle of social, financial, and emotional obligations. We live in a world where we're conditioned to believe we must work hard to achieve success, acquire material goods to feel complete, and follow a predetermined path that often doesn't bring true satisfaction. This type of slavery traps our minds and hearts, pulling us away from what really matters. We see how this slavery manifests itself in our daily lives. We're constantly seeking approval, whether at work, on social media, or in our relationships. The relentless consumerism makes us believe that the more we own, the happier we'll be. But deep down, this endless pursuit only leads to anxiety and emotional exhaustion. The need to prove something to others and to ourselves becomes a prison, leaving no room for real pleasure or happiness. When we acknowledge this reality, we see that everyone faces this struggle in some way. Whether it's the pursuit of financial success, the desire for social acceptance, or the fear of not being good enough, modern-day slavery affects all of us. Recognizing this, we can emotionally connect with the idea that there is a way out. We're not alone in this fight, and there are ways to free ourselves from these invisible bonds. Modern slavery has a direct impact on our personal lives. It affects our mental health because we're always in a state of anxiety and stress. It also affects our physical health, as the body pays the price for so many pressures and responsibilities. Most importantly, it affects our emotional and spiritual health, leading us to a state of exhaustion and loss of purpose. We feel an inner void, as if something is missing, but we can't quite identify what it is. At this point, we need to stop and reflect on our lives. Are we living the life we truly want, or are we just following what society expects of us? The answer to this question is crucial for us to start freeing ourselves from this slavery. And for that, the 5 universal laws I'll share are the key that will unlock the doors to that freedom. Introducing the 5 universal laws. Law 1, the law of authenticity. The first universal law we're going to explore is the law of authenticity. To free ourselves from modern slavery, we must first discover who we really are. We live in a society that forces us to wear masks. At work, on social media, in our relationships. These masks often hide our true essence. By trying to please others, we end up distancing ourselves from what truly makes us happy. The Bible teaches us to live authentically and truthfully. In Romans 12:2, Paul advises us not to conform to this world, but to be transformed by the renewal of our minds. This means we should seek our true essence, not be swayed by external pressures. By living authentically, we honor what God has called us to be, in harmony with who we truly are. To put the law of authenticity into practice, it's essential to reflect on what truly brings happiness to your life. What are your passions, your values? What makes your heart truly sing? By recognizing these truths, you begin to live with more purpose and move away from the expectations imposed by others. Quantum physics suggests that the universe responds to our true essence, attracting what is consistent with who we are. Authenticity is not a final state, but a process. Throughout life, we discover and rediscover ourselves. The key is to stay true to what we feel and believe, even when the world around us tries to push us in another direction. When we live authentically, we attract experiences that truly resonate with our souls, and that is one of the greatest freedoms we can achieve. So, the first law you must apply is to be true to yourself. Free yourself from the masks, from the expectations society has placed on you, and start living according to your purpose. When you live authentically, the feeling of peace and fulfillment becomes a constant reality. Law 2, the law of detachment. The second universal law is the law of detachment. Often people are trapped by the need for control, perfection, and owning things or people. This attachment generates a tremendous amount of suffering because the world is constantly changing and everything that is material or external is impermanent. Detachment is the key to true emotional and spiritual freedom. The teaching of detachment is present in various biblical passages. In Matthew 6:19-21, Jesus teaches us not to store up treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, but to store up treasures in heaven. This reflects the importance of not attaching ourselves to what is temporary and instead focusing on what is eternal. Attachment to material things and earthly concerns pulls us away from true peace and purpose. When we talk about detachment, we're not saying to abandon everything or live in extreme austerity. Detachment means recognizing that nothing is permanent and that we can't control everything around us. Quantum physics, for example, suggests that everything in the universe is in constant motion and transformation. Trying to hold on to the uncontrollable only creates tension and suffering. To practice detachment, start by recognizing the areas in your life where you're trying to maintain excessive control. This might be related to material goods, relationships, or even expectations and beliefs. Free yourself from the need for everything to be perfect or for everything to go according to plan. By letting go of control, you allow life to flow more naturally and abundantly. Detachment is a constant practice. As you let go of what no longer serves you, you create space for the new. The freedom that comes with detachment is transformative. You start living with more ease and less worry, and this directly impacts your mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Law 3, the law of abundance. The third law is the law of abundance. Many of us grow up with a scarcity mindset, believing we never have enough, whether it's money, love, time, or opportunities. This scarcity mindset puts us in a constant state of lack and worry. However, the universe, as taught in both quantum physics and the Bible, is abundant. God created us to live in fullness. The Bible teaches us about abundance in John 10:10, where Jesus says, "I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." This abundance is not just about material wealth, but a life filled with purpose, joy, and fulfillment. The problem is that we often focus on lack instead of abundance, and this shapes our experiences. The law of attraction teaches that we attract what we focus on. If we focus on scarcity, more scarcity will come. To change this mindset, it's crucial to start practicing gratitude. By recognizing the blessings we already have, we open the door for more abundance to flow into our lives. Quantum physics suggests that everything in the universe is interconnected and that our thoughts have the power to shape our reality. When we focus on abundance instead of lack, we begin to attract more of what we desire. An abundance mindset is also linked to the act of giving. When we believe that the universe is infinite in its possibilities, we feel joy in sharing what we have with others, whether it's time, money, or knowledge. The Bible teaches us the importance of generosity, and this generosity connects us even more with the flow of universal abundance. Apply the law of abundance in your life. Start by shifting your perspective, focusing on what you already have, and practicing gratitude daily. As you cultivate this mindset, you'll discover that true pleasure lies not in having more, but in recognizing the sufficiency of what you already have. Law 4, the law of inner silence. The fourth universal law is the law of inner silence. In a world full of stimuli where we are constantly bombarded with information and distractions, it's tough to find peace and clarity. Mental noise caused by worries, fears, and expectations prevents us from accessing true pleasure and connecting with our deepest essence. The concept of seeking inner silence is deeply rooted in the Bible. In Psalm 46:10, God calls us to still our hearts and know that He is God. This is a powerful reminder that in the midst of chaos, we must seek moments of stillness to hear the inner voice that guides us. That inner silence is where we find the real pleasure and peace that transcends external circumstances. In quantum physics, the concept of the fertile void is explored. This void isn't an absence of things, but the infinite potential for creation. Similarly, when we quiet our minds, we create space for new ideas, solutions, and even a fresh perspective on life. Inner silence is the state where we connect with the creative source, whether you call it God, the universe, or energy. To embody this law, you can practice meditation, mindfulness, or simply take daily moments of introspection. It's not about completely silencing your thoughts, but learning to observe them without clinging to them. By cultivating inner silence, you'll begin to hear your intuition more clearly, and that inner voice will always guide you towards what truly matters. The practice of inner silence is an ongoing journey. Don't expect immediate results, but allow yourself small moments of stillness every day. Over time, you'll notice how this practice brings clarity, peace, and a sense of pleasure that isn't reliant on external factors. Law 5, the law of flow. The fifth and final law is the law of flow. Life is in constant motion, and resisting that movement only creates suffering. When we learn to go with the flow of life, embracing its changes and challenges with ease, we experience a freedom and joy that comes from living in the present. This law teaches us to be in harmony with the natural rhythm of life rather than fighting against it. The Bible speaks about the flow of life in Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. This verse reminds us that life has its cycles, and there is a time for everything. By aligning ourselves with this flow, accepting the changes and challenges that come, we experience less resistance and more peace. In quantum physics, the concept of flow relates to energy in motion. Nothing in the universe is static, and the same is true in our lives. When we resist change or try to control every aspect of our reality, we block the natural flow of energy. The law of attraction teaches that when we go with the flow of life, we attract experiences that are in harmony with our vibrational state. To live in flow, it's important to practice acceptance. This doesn't mean resignation or passivity, but rather recognizing that there are things beyond our control. By accepting and flowing with change, we open ourselves up to new opportunities and experiences. This practice also helps us live with more ease, fully enjoying the present moment. Apply the law of flow in your life by letting go of the need for control. Allow yourself to live in the present fully, without holding on to the past or worrying about the future. When you're in flow with life, you discover that true joy comes from living each moment with ease and gratitude. Now that you're familiar with the 5 universal laws, it's important to understand that applying these laws doesn't have to be drastic or immediate. In fact, transformation happens gradually as you start incorporating these practices into your daily routine. Small changes can lead to big results over time, and each step you take toward freedom will open new doors to true joy. Inspirational stories can show us how these laws work in real life. Imagine someone who has always felt the need to control everything, trying to plan every detail of their life. By applying the law of detachment, they began to release that need, allowing life to flow more naturally. Over time, they discovered that by letting go of control, new opportunities appeared, and their life became lighter and more fulfilling. Another story might be about someone who lived with a scarcity mindset, always worried about not having enough. By embracing the law of abundance, This person started practicing daily gratitude and, surprisingly, began to attract more financial opportunities and fulfilling experiences. These real-life stories show that when we apply these laws, we can powerfully change our reality. So how can you get started? For the law of authenticity, take some time for honest reflection about who you are and what you truly want out of life. For the law of detachment, start identifying areas where you're trying to control too much. For the law of abundance, practice daily gratitude. For the law of inner silence, set aside moments of quiet in your routine. And finally, for the law of flow, embrace the changes that come your way, trusting that everything happens in its right time. Each of these laws can be applied practically and gradually. The key is consistency. You don't need to make drastic changes all at once. Small, intentional steps can completely transform your life over time. As you apply these laws, you'll realize that true joy comes from living in alignment with who you really are, in harmony with the universe and with divine teachings. In summary, we've seen that modern slavery, though invisible, deeply affects us, limiting our potential and keeping us from experiencing true joy. However, the 5 universal laws, authenticity, detachment, abundance, inner silence, and flow, have the power to free us from these invisible chains and guide us toward a fuller and more satisfying life. These laws teach us to live more authentically, to let go of what no longer serves us, to cultivate a mindset of abundance, to seek moments of inner stillness, and to flow with life instead of resisting it. By applying these principles, we can experience a profound freedom and joy that isn't dependent on external circumstances. The final message I want to leave you with is this: true freedom and true joy are within reach for all of us. It's not about changing the external world, but about transforming our inner world. When we align our lives with these universal laws, we discover that real joy isn't found in material achievements or the approval of others, but in living in harmony with our essence and the purpose God has given us. So, I invite you to reflect on your life and start applying these laws in your day-to-day. If you enjoyed this content, share this video and subscribe to the channel. Together, we can continue this journey of transformation and discover the true joy we all seek. Remember, true freedom isn't out there, it's inside you.